glossy, and then this is matte. This Collagraph plate is made on an old Priority Mail box. It is a duct tape, and I carved some lines and then I glued some mosquito netting on it. But before I even ink it, I want to prepare my paper. To do a little experiment, I have Newsprint, as this might be some paper that you have from your sketch pad. This is copy paper. It's a sheet of rice paper. Applying my ink with an old toothbrush that I use just for printmaking, or a squeegee. Today I'm going to experiment with a number of different inks so that you can see and paint, so that you can see how to work with what you've got. Block printing ink, this is fairly inexpensive. This is water soluble, which means that it's very easy for cleanup. I have acrylic, since a lot of you have acrylic. Now, acrylic will dry too quickly. Even though both of these are water-based, this has emulsion in it that keeps it open. That means wet longer, and that gives me time to wipe the plate. So what I'm going to do to make my acrylic stay open more is I'm going to add a little slow dry medium. And here's one slow dry medium I have, here's another one, and either one of these will work. And they're very useful if you're an acrylic painter, to keep your paint open so you can blend and make it look more like oils. And then I'm also going to pull an oil-based ink, but it is water miscible, which means I can clean up with soap and water. I will be applying ink with an old toothbrush and with a squeegee. I will be wiping the plates with newspaper, and also with Akua wipes when I go to the Akua. To mix my inks, I need a sturdy surface, so I have this piece of plexiglass, or if you don't have something like that, you can use an old box like this that you might use for inking, for mixing your paints, are old foam trays that might come with your groceries. I save all of these and use them for my painting palettes and for my printmaking needs. I'm going to begin today with the blue because I don't want to clean my plate. I'm going to add to this blue ink a little bloop of slow dry medium. Come on. Did my slow dry medium dry? Oh heavens. Keep this open longer, and I'm just going to mix it together. So with the squeegee, it's a little piece of cardboard that I cut out, and I'm just going to start laying down ink. And the first thing you start to see is that all of the parts of the plate that I varnished or that have the tape on it is rejecting my ink, and all the parts that I carved is collecting ink. I can also use a toothbrush. There's ink everywhere. Take a sheet of newspaper. In this case, it's a little bit of newsprint, and I'm going to get it flat, and I don't want to wipe too vigorously. And you're going to see a slight film, because what I want is I want to leave See, I want to leave these lines on either side of this ink. And I scraped into the duct tape here a little bit to leave little lines. And I don't want to pick up the ink from any of the parts that I cut out with my X-Acto knife, just from her face. And I'm leaving a slight plate tone. That plate tone is a little bit of color that begins to tint the surface of the paper towel, and Q-tip would come in handy. Here's what I can do. I am going to pick up my plate. All right, now I'm going to tamp it down a little bit so it kind of sticks a little bit. And now I'm going to start to press. I can press with a Baron. I can press with a brayer, or I can press with a spoon. I can use a wood spoon. And I think spoons work for this technique better than anything else, because I can really dig in there. And good, I'm getting some of that cardboard texture. After rubbing it with my spoon, I'm checking, see what I got. That's the first print. I can see that I have a big loop of extra ink here. So when I re-ink, so every time if I was pulling an edition, multiples of this piece, I would want to re-ink everything except for this part, because there's an extra amount of ink here. First wipe with a squeegee, get some of that excess ink off. So the first thing you might notice is that the printing ink is much richer in value. It's not just because it's black. It has to do with the amount of pigmentation in printmaking ink. Next in line is this rice paper. That this paper is much thinner . Oh yeah, that's printing with a lot of plate tone. Good. I like that. Let's see what we've got. Next up, I'm going to try some Akua Oil-Based Ink. Now, I can wipe my Akua ink with newspaper just like the other ones. Wiping with the Akua wipe or interfacing fabric, and you can see it gives me a cleaner plate tone. All right, I've used a combination of spoon and here we go. And here's the Akua. All right, let's see a side-by-side comparison of all three experiments today. Acrylic on newsprint. I added some slow dry medium to the acrylic to keep it open long enough for me to print it. I tried some water soluble ink here. This is fairly inexpensive and easy to clean up. And this is on rice paper. And then this one is on typing paper, and I used the Akua water-based or water cleanup oil-based ink. This is the second plate that I'm going to demo today. And this one is on a cracker box. And I glued another box behind it because it has seams in it and it's very floopy otherwise. And then I used Mod Podge to glue spaghetti and millet on it and some of the netting, and then I used my X-Acto knife to carve away lines. Nice Kosho. It's a Japanese paper, and you can see, I can see right through it. Intaglio in the center and relief on the outside. And this one, I will use the Akua. I'm going to pull on my Akua ink. Red is what I'm inking with. And this is a rice paper. So I am going to very carefully hand print this. I can see right through. See that I'm getting nice edges here. I like the spaghetti. And again, carefully hand printing, pushing the paper into my line work.